Today we're joined by my beautiful partner and my ride or die homie, Lola Montes. And we're going to be speaking together today about how to create a high-performing household. And Lola is, amazing woman who works with so many thousands of women across the globe. She's been doing this for years now, really revolutionizing the space within biohacking and bringing online a whole lot of wisdom around cyclical living, around women working with their hormones to really bring out their full potential on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for being here with us, Lola. Excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm just going to give her a little introduction and read through her bio just so we can touch on all the magical points that she's bringing into the world. Lola is a woman's health and hormonal specialist with a background in pharmacy, embryology, and nutrition. She's passionate about helping women achieve glowing skin, overflowing vitality, and a radiant body through hormone balance and cyclical living. As the host of the No Te Conformes, Lola empowers women to overcome physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual challenges, guiding them towards a life of fullness and empowerment. With a deep understanding of the transformative power of nutrition and connection to their menstrual cycle, Lola is on a mission to inspire women to embrace their health and live vibrantly. So just checking quickly your podcast name.
No Te Conformes.
No Te Conformes.
Yes,
I'm slowly learning Spanish, but just wanting to make sure it's on point. So we can leave this down in the description as well. So if you want to get connected with more of Lola's work, that will be there. Yeah, let's dive in, and I'm excited to ask you some questions, and to, like within every relationship, the beautiful thing is we're always learning more about each other, and there's always deeper and deeper layers today. So this is beautiful for me as well to get to share in this with you and to share this experience.
Exciting.
So for our male listeners, what is cyclical living and why is it important for a male partner to know? Why is it important for a man to know?
Yeah. So cyclical living is living according to your menstrual cycle, because the menstrual cycle is not just the days that you are bleeding. Those are the days of menstruation, but the cycle is the whole month. So through the whole month, our hormones change. And that change a lot of things in our body, in our mind, in the way we want to eat, in the way we want to have sex, in the way we feel, in the way we see each other. So for a woman, it's really important to know that and to live according to the cycle. And for the male partner, is a tool for connecting deeper with her, knowing more about her, knowing why she is irritated, knowing why she's looking for having sex, knowing why she's feeling like she needs a hug. And knowing all of that, it I feel like a deeper connection. And also make her, in my case, makes me feel loved and saved and in a real partnership. So it's so important to share that. Also, it can be used to looking for pregnancy or avoiding it. So it's a perfect tool to use together. But the main point for me is creating this deep intimacy and not feeling that I'm alone in this, that you understand what I'm going through, because it changes a lot.
Thank you for sharing. And what a beautiful experience it's been for me sharing this with you. What an amazing thing it is to have a hormonal specialist, a woman's hormonal specialist as your partner. And I've been inducted into a whole new world of what women go through and the different seasons and cycles. And as you spoke, there's different seasons for that apply well to different parts of life. There's times to go and there's times to slow. And what I've really learnt with you that's been beneficial for me is when I really honor and take awareness of where you're up to within your cycle, being able to support you during those times and understanding what you might need, or at least that you're more likely to need during those times, which by being able to support you with your needs, then the whole household is more calm, things flow more smoothly. And even, for instance, things that we've experienced together of when you are going through the bleeding season and moving through this stage of that, it's, you've taught me that it's a very important time to slow down and sometimes even have the whole day to rest. And we've really experienced together by us both honoring that, that when that day is, has been fully honored, that the next days afterwards are full fire. There's like a huge amount of power that comes through. It's almost like fully honoring the winter, which allows the summer to be in its fullness as well, not cutting the winter half and it being drawn out and lasting longer. And then the summer not being as bright, but they're being full fire. So for me, it's been so supportive of understanding and being able to work with your cycle. And also, maybe for men, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are less cyclical in this way. But I can see the benefit of in our household of honoring your cycle and letting your cycle almost rule the flow of things a little bit more and working my flow in around yours. Of course, I have my own structures and things that need to be done, deadlines that need to be met. But by working that in around what you're doing as well, I can be resting on the days that you're resting so we can share this time together. And booking out our time aligned with what's going to be best for the family unit, and as a powerful household being able to maintain that energy. Hey,
absolutely, because even if your hormones change daily, not in a month, I think it's important for every individual to have periods of nesting, of resting, of going inwards, so we can go outward and be more focused on taking actions, but after a period of reflection and resting. And so I love that, even though, of course, as you said, you don't have these changes, so if you have a commitment, you do it. I love that you are respecting that for me and for yourself.
It's been such a learning lesson. Hey, and of course, nothing works unless we work, but then also, like, it's such an important thing. And with a lot of the clients I work with, men that are running their own businesses, entrepreneurs who have busy time schedules, one of the risks can be that they are pushing themselves all the time. And just like when we're going to the gym and lifting weights, we're not growing while we're in the gym, we're growing while we're recovering, while we're at home, while we're eating well. And the same is when we're stretching ourselves with our mental, emotional capacity, with up leveling all the time, there needs to be that slow time. So I feel having a powerful woman in your life to remind you of that, and actually working in with her, there's a wisdom that the feminine that a woman brings into a man's life, of learning to slow down and enjoy things and receive and to rest, because otherwise we lead to burnout anyway, right? So
absolutely,
if we're wanting those long-term sustainable gains and growth within all areas of our life, there has to be a resting period.
Absolutely. And also, if they have women on their teams and they are working with women, this is such a powerful tool for productivity. Like, I'm making way more money and working less since I embrace cyclical living for my productivity. So if you are working with women or have a partner, encourage them to follow their cycle and allow them to rest when they need to. Because then on the days that they are in pure fire, they are going to give you much results.
Absolutely. And I think, within any relationship, when we're honoring people's needs and they feel respected and like, wow, I haven't even asked for this. And this person cares enough. They're paying enough attention to me. They give a fuck enough about me that they're building in what my needs are and asking me what I need. Of course, that person, even on an unconscious level, is going to give so much more because they feel valued. They feel like they're part of a team, like they're important, like they mean something to us. So I can't agree more with what you're saying there. We've already spoken into a little bit, but the second piece that I wanted to drop in with you about is like, how are men different than women?
This is so important. Like, we are not women, we are not little men. Like, we are women. We are different biologically. And the main thing is what we spoke. Like, women have monthly cycles where our hormones changes, and men have daily cycles. So they wake up with testosterone up here and go down, 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 down during the day. That every day. So that is completely different. So the way we eat, the way we fast, the way we work, the way we do everything is different because our bodies are different. Therefore, our minds and, of course, our needs and so on. So, yeah, we can be equal and have the same rights and everything. Yes, of course, but we are so different. Also of course, in relationships and in polarity and so on. But just from my biological point of view, we have different levels of hormones. We change different. But for me, the main thing is women have a monthly cycle and men have a daily one.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for explaining and elaborating. And it's so powerful to realize. I think before coming into a relationship with you, I didn't understand half of what I understand now, and about the different cycles and the different seasons that you go through and different needs, and coming to this realization that women and men are like, we're almost a different species. It's almost like looking at two, like comparing a cat and a dog in a way. And I think this is a really important conversation to have and to speak to, especially when there's a lot within media about trying to gender neutralize things and make us all the same. And definitely I'm all about equality, but then to try to make everybody the same, it takes away the flavor and the richness, and also we end up not honoring the differences and how the different needs that we have, and also the different strengths that we have, and being able to amplify those strengths and mitigate each other's weaknesses, because we are so different. There are different things that men thrive at, and there's other things that women thrive at as well, and it's just part of our nature. It's part of us being a part of this whole ecosystem of life, right?
And we bring different things into the table. Like I remember you paying for something and I was like, but I can do it, and you were like, yeah, I know you can, but do you need to? Like, I can do it for you. Like, I love providing and doing this. And then maybe like, okay, I love cooking or bringing flowers into the home. Why won't we let us be in our nature and share that and bless the other person in that nature? Like, I find it difficult at the beginning, of course, of a relationship being in my feminine, because we women are programmed to go for it and work as men and do everything and be independent. And you can be independent, and at the same time you can be in your feminine energy and not doing everything alone and so on. So understanding this polarity is so important for relationships in general, and of course intimate relationships.
I love it. So we're speaking here about like some of the things that we can do as men to really support, to bring online this high performance household, and that we've got it in our control by understanding women more, by understanding what their needs are and how they're different than us, that we can create the environment for success, for peace, for there to be even more elevation in all areas of our life. But now what I'm wanting to tune into as well, because also for men, it's important for us to every relationship's about reciprocity, right? Having something, we're giving and we're receiving equally. That's what reciprocity means. And yes, it's powerful to ask for what we need, but we first have to know what to ask for. And if we haven't had that available potentially in a relationship or even seen it before, we may not even know to ask for it. So coming into this next question, as a woman, what's the most effective tools that you've learned to be able to support me?
I think asking questions like, what do you need? Why are you feeling? What can I do for you? I think that is one thing. Also, you letting me know that you want to provide for me. So I think that's really important, because we women, I feel like we don't understand that. There is a really good book for that, Queen's Code,
by Alison Armstrong.
That is playing all of this in deeper. But knowing that certain things make you feel even better, like that providing for me makes you feel good. So instead of not asking, I force myself to ask for things that I could do, yes, but I know are going to make you feel even stronger and more empowered, because you are providing for me, and also I receive them. So it's a win-win. So paying attention to that.
I'll speak to that a little bit more just so that like listeners really understand this
important.
powerful book by Alison Armstrong, The Queen's Code, that Lola was speaking about. And as men, we are wired to want to provide for women on a primal level. Us providing and us being seen as a provider and received and celebrated as a provider literally has a whole lot of biochemical positive effects within our body, from raising our dopamine, from raising our testosterone levels. So literally when we create this biofeedback loop within our relationships where we are providing and experiencing our greatness and being able to support our partner, and then our partner understands this enough to be able to celebrate us and recognize and ask for this, it can literally level us up biochemically as a man, which of course when we're feeling the higher levels your testosterone are, means you're going to be willing to take more risks, be willing to push further into discomfort to achieve your dreams. It means you're going to be sharper, more on point, more physically dominant, more emotionally stable. So our partner literally has the ability to biohack and to support us to raise and to level up as a man. There is this saying that behind every powerful man is an amazing, powerful woman as well. And, this is one of those, the more of the specific ways of which that saying presents itself, like the truth of it. So I think this is super powerful to know, and it's a powerful tool that we've been able to work with in our relationship, knowing the experience that when you ask for what you need and allow me to provide, and sometimes even soften into letting me to do more, that it can create an even more polarity and chemistry within the relationship, but also creating this dynamic and an environment for me to feel even more powerful that changes me when I'm in the boardroom, when I'm in the bedroom, and everything else in between, right?
Yeah. And also being a safe space for you to come home and hold you and know that you can relax and be yourself and be emotional and cry if you want, or just relax and feel safe, like coming back from war and knowing that you have this safe container that you can relax. I think is so important for guys, because you are most of the time like going, getting over. And I think in our society we have hidden that men have emotions as well. So it's like, you don't cry because you are this if you cry. And you need a safe space to relax, to recharge before going back to war. So I feel like that's really important. And it's something that we women can offer. And it's not that difficult. But we need to encourage that space. We need to create that space. If it's not there, it's difficult for them to surrender, to relax.
And this is something I was speaking to you about just the other day, of like how much I appreciate you holding the line that, I had a few days a week ago where I was feeling a little bit more flat, and as I was stepping into new projects and letting go of old things to step into the new and say no to the good, to say yes to the great. It's a normal process. But by you holding the line and moving forward with our goals and moving forward with the household and keeping things moving, it allowed me to jump back into the momentum when I was ready to go again. And I think this is a powerful thing, is a powerful woman is solid enough within her own masculine presence to see the long-term picture, to be able to acknowledge the season that the partner's in, and to not judge him for, you're making me not feel safe maybe because you're not on point right now, or I need you on point to feel safe. But being able to actually go, I see the work and the effort you're putting in, and now it's your time to rest. And I also trust that, you will be on your feet again and doing what you need to do, because you're an epic man. This sort of, this energy, it's not even something that needs to be said, but it's something that I feel from your presence. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to some really solid masculine points of like action. What are a couple of like 2 to 3 solid tips that our men can take home and apply within their relationships here from this conversation about creating a high performance household together with their partner?
One thing go and have a conversation about the menstrual cycle. And if she's not tuned into it, is not connected to it, let's do it together. So let's encourage her to go and connect, because this is going to be really beneficial for you if she connects with her body and her feminine energy and her cycle, and then do it together. So register the cycle and share about it, and share how you're feeling. Create that safe space for her. 2, again, create a safe space for her, so she feel that she has a blanket to go to. Like, we were speaking before about the 10 minutes. Give her 10 minutes of not judgment, not trying to fix her, not trying to change anything, just allowing her to be safe and to be held in your arms. That's enough, and it's such a gift.
Can I just jump in there quickly?
Absolutely.
On a primal level, men are hunters. We're single point focused, and we go out to kill the animal to bring it home to feed the family. And in a modern day world, that's us going out to work or having a goal to provide for the family. Women on a primal level are more gatherers. They go, of days of old, they would go out into the fields and they would pick the berries. They would remember where the poisonous ones were, where the good yields were, what was safe, what wasn't safe, always collecting information to be able to retain, to create safety for the family, to look after the children, and to have a map of everything. So they're gathering information in a very different way than men. And understanding this part of the woman's cycle of then mentally coping with all of this information is giving her a space to unload all this information and to speak it through. And even, to herself, from what I can understand, within a woman, it can be overwhelming, all this information. And as men, us holding more of a single point focused, and maybe having the framework as biologically to be sometimes more stable emotionally, we can offer that stability for our partner to stand on that solid foundation as she unloads all of this different information, so she can also come back to herself, come back to her body, and feel like she's being held in that. So this is something beautiful that we can provide for our partners. And as Lola was saying, 10 minutes is enough of us not needing to say anything, fix anything, but just being there, seeing the person, hearing the person, and letting them speak through everything, even setting a timer. And of course, when somebody has this provided for them, there's much less emotional outlashes, because when you know that there is a space that's there for you and you're having it on a regular basis, there's no scarcity. It's not like I need this and I need to get attention in whatever way, which, every human being has this need for attention and to be heard. But when we structure it in and we provide that structure as a male for our partner, then it can save so much. So,
and that was my last piece. Like, give her an extra attention, an extra compliment, touch her hair, hug her, kiss her. Sometimes, especially guys are more single focus, and they are working, and she's on the sofa thinking, he's not loving me, he's not hugging me. So make an effort. And of course, it's a responsibility to ask for what we need, but sometimes it's not that easy. So move the chair for her, bring her flowers. It's just little things that are gonna help you so much to have a beautiful household, and to feel and to have her happy and feeling radiant when you come back home. So it's worth it.
Of course, if we're going to treat somebody like a queen, they're going to feel like that as well, especially when it's in our most intimate relationships. So, So one last question. So imagine, our listeners, this might be the first time they've heard about cyclical living. And what's one next action step that they can take? I know we've got a few tips there, but I have one in mind. I'll just, we'll see if we've got the same thing in mind. I'll open it up to you first of one step they can take from here that's going to be really powerful.
So there are 2 apps that they can download. One is Kindara with K. We can put it on the notes if you want. And the other one is Stardust. Both of them are similar but different. But I'm not going to get into the specific, but both of them are going to allow them to start looking at the cycle together, and you can share it with your partner. So both of you have access to it. So you can be like, hey, look, I'm in this day of the cycle. I'm feeling this. I have cervical mucus. I'm feeling this. My body wants this. I'm eating this. So start that conversation by downloading the apps and then having the conversation with your partner and doing it.
And this is great also as the guy, because we can also have access to the woman's account, and even for ourselves, if we're willing to take that level of responsibility, which is a smart thing to do, we can actually see where they're up to on their cycle and already support and be prepared for what's to come at different seasons, and to know when to go, when to slow, when to be a little bit more tender, when we can, fire through with some more feet and some more fire and go for it. So amazing. All right. So this is going to wrap up the end of the podcast section of today. But as you know, each of the people that come into the hot seat, they're also here for transformation, or at least we like to offer them transformation to bless the journey that they're on, to bless the mission that they're a part of. And how can we support them to step into their next level as well? And of course, and thank you for being here first and foremost for that, because I know the level of vulnerability it takes to share this, not just with one person and not just, be truthful with yourself, but share it with the world. And part of this is it gives us huge permission, right? When somebody goes first, or when somebody shares their own lessons and learnings, we are a pack creature as humans. We learn from one another. We don't have to make the same mistakes as others. We can learn things well ahead of time by hearing and by learning and listening, and it's beautiful to bring it into this format. So thank you for bringing yourself into this space and making yourself available for this part as well.
Absolutely. I experienced it before and it's life-changing, so of course.
Yeah. So what I want to prompt things with is like, how can we support you today to make your mission even bigger? And I'll give a little bit of context in that. Is like, is there something that is taking up a lot of your time and your energy that you find is blocking you stepping into that next level of the vision of yourself that you're wanting to create, and the mission that you're wanting to continue to birth into bigger levels in the world?
Yeah, I feel like it might be celebrating myself. Like, as my whole life, I've been working in the pharmaceutical industry and studying a degree at the same time. I find it easy to make an effort. So for me, when I achieve things, I'm like, yeah, of course, next thing. I find it difficult to see the value on the things that I'm bringing, even though I know I'm changing women's life, and every message that I receive from a woman, I'm like, and I celebrate her when I achieve the thing. When they are achieving, it's great, but when I'm achieving, I'm making more money or selling more or doing this or getting this or being in a podcast studio with my beloved recording a podcast. I'm like, okay, next step, because it feels that even easy for me, even though it hasn't. But yeah.
And how is this showing up in your everyday life? Like an experience, say that you've completed something and...
Yeah, I feel like, if I'm never enough or it's never enough, because I always want more or need more. And sometimes it makes me feel sad not being able to celebrate myself, because somehow I can see what I achieved, but I can't feel it. Like I can't, like I find it easier to celebrate you than me, or to feel happy for you than for me.
Is there a particular example that you have that comes to mind of something regularly that you've completed or achieved something great and haven't you've experienced this exact dynamic where you're not feeling it's enough, and you're on to the next thing? You don't have to speak into, you can share as much as you want to, of course, but can you connect with something?
I have a lot, like everything that I'm doing. The last thing was I launched an online course and I made more money than ever. And the next day I was like, okay, what do I need to do the next 2 months to instead of celebrating that? I'm good at going and getting a massage and I rest and these sort of things, but I find it difficult to relax into the celebration. I wake the next morning just thinking about what is going to be my next step, because this was okay, but it's not enough, and na. So I think it's a feeling of always being in a race, you know, to get the next thing.
Sounds like an exhausting way to live always.
Exactly.
Like being on to the next thing, and I can imagine it's quite draining for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you tap into this pattern and like into this particular instance you were speaking about of making more money in your business and going to bed and waking up in the morning, just like, you know, by the sounds of it, I'm picking up on more of like a frantic energy of like, like need to do something, like a bit of a scarcity energy. When you feel into that, how does that show up in your body? Like, what's your
it's
experience?
interesting because it's not just about the money. Money is secondary. It's about doing more, about the next thing, about feeling the pressure, not about the money, because I could make money in different ways easier.
So if it's not about the money, what is it about, do you feel?
Kind of achieving more, having more, but it doesn't need to be money. Like,
and for what purpose achieving more? Like, what's it leading to? What are you receiving out of achieving more?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. When I achieve more, I don't feel that difference. I feel good and I'm grateful, but I don't feel like it stops. It's like, okay, next one. So I don't feel anything. But yeah, as answering your question, what I feel is this kind of not the thing that I feel is not being able to relax. Never. I never fully. I'm better now. And the last few years I've been working a lot in receiving and relaxing and surrendering, but still there is a layer of always being ready to jump and not being able to fully.
And this not being able to relax, how is that manifesting itself for you as a woman, like in your everyday life, not being able to relax? What are
In the past, it manifested in my menstrual cycle because it's the 5th vital signal in women. But so I lost my cycle and everything. Now that I'm better, it manifests in me finding it difficult to be in a fully relaxed state. So if I'm having a coffee, I need to be reading or checking Instagram, or I'm thinking about the next thing that I'm gonna do. So, and I know that the feeling that I wanna have is just being and receiving. And sometimes I find it difficult to connect with that. And
when you have this come up, like you've achieved something amazing, you've woken up the next day, what's some of the internal dialogue that's you're speaking to yourself, like if we can tap into? And
somehow it's like I don't have time, like I need to do it now, and I don't know why, because no one is pushing me. I have everything that I need in life. I have money, I know, but it's like if it wasn't okay to just relax and not trying to achieve things.
And does this remind you of anybody that you were around when you were growing up? Like a lot of the emotional patterns and the way that we deal with life, the way that we do and handle situations is because it's been modeled to us. And there's a saying that we are our parents until we're not, or, you know, we are around those people significant. So is there somebody that you're reminded of, or a situation?
Yeah, what is coming to mind now is being at my parents and thinking about what I was gonna study at uni and wishing that I was American, because I had this idea that Americans take a year off and these sort of things, a sabbatical. And for me, it wasn't kind of an option. Or that's the perception that I had. It was like, of course, you are finishing school. You need to go to uni because you need to work, because you need to study a master's degree, because you need to get a, So I feel like the belief, I think the belief of there is no time for resting. You can't stop, because if you stop, you'll be behind. Yeah, and I have another thing coming up. When I was little in school, I remember people not passing that year and staying behind. And it was like the worst thing in the world, like being 1 year behind.
Yeah.
Because you need to be in the next year in school. And now that I think about it, it's like 1 year. Of course, you have even 10 or 20 or 30. It's okay. You always have time to get into the next level if you want to. But back then in school, it was like, wow, it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah. And how old were you there? Do you feel?
8 years old or around, like really.
Yeah. And for 8-year-old Lola, what was she feeling when seeing, other people not passing and they're staying back? Like, if you really take yourself there, what emotions were you feeling?
Yeah. To be honest, I was feeling that I was better because I was passing. And I was like, oof, I would feel so miserable if I was there. I don't know how they allow that to happen. And I was like, just study more. Just study and do your thing. And I remember also my father saying, the only thing that you need to do is study. I'm paying for everything. I'm providing everything. The only thing that you need to do is study. And I remember not passing my first exam at uni, maths, and then crying with my brother and my sister-in-law, like feeling like the world was over because I didn't pass the exam. And thinking about my dad paying for my university and saying, the only thing that you need to do is study. And me being like, it's the only thing that I need to do and I'm not doing it.
And what emotion came up for you around when you didn't pass that particular exam?
Guilt, a lot of guilt, and shame.
And can you see how that guilt and that shame around that, do you feel that that's connected with how you experience yourself with this incessant drive to keep moving forward? I don't feel the shame and the guilt anymore, but I think it's definitely connected to feeling guilty for allowing myself to be in a sabbatical or or doing these sort of things, because it's like And just going back to when you were 8 and these kids, you saw them not passing and you had this thought process around how could they let that happen? What was a decision you made for yourself at that point? Usually when we have these significant things, our unconscious mind brings certain pieces up for a reason, certain memories up for a reason, because that's where we need to learn from. So I'm curious, what decision did you make for yourself when you were 8 and you saw that?
I'm just seeing it, and it's clearly that this is not gonna happen to me. Like, I'm gonna focus. And it's the feeling that I had all those years and during uni when everyone was going out and so on. I mean, I have fun. And I lived in Italy for 1 year and it was really fun. But then I was always studying and because I decided that I was going to be focused and that was going to be my main priority. Not living life, but doing that.
So you could say that in some ways this decision served you really well for that period of being in school and going for it. But I'm feeling from what I'm hearing now, this same decision or belief that you made at that age now is getting to a point of it's reaching the very limits. It's like stretching like rubber band ready to break. And it's once it was maybe a supportive belief to some degree,
Yeah.
But now it feels like it's at this point of actually that same belief that was once helpful is now becoming the biggest limitation.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if you're always feeling in this go state, if we're always in the state of fight and flight and in a stress response of needing to push forward, of course, we're not able to fully tap into our cognitive function. We're not able to live at our fullest health. It shows up in the body in different things such as like inflammation and, overwhelm within the body.
Yeah.
So I suppose the question I want to ask is like, now that decision, what's it costing you? That decision of this is not going to happen to me. I'm going to focus. And of course, there's a positive side to this that we want to hold, but just what's it costing you? Holding that so solidly and rigidly for yourself.
Yeah, not being able to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Again, even though it's better now, I can see myself 2 to 3 years ago being like, hey, or being in a meeting when I was working for the pharmaceutical industry, them being relaxed and enjoy, and me being like, hey, we are working. Let's get to the point instead of enjoying with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And is there any other ways in which you can see that it's, like what's it costing you now?
Yeah, I guess, not being able to fully enjoy everything that I'm achieving because I can see it. I have my dream life. Like, everything. I have everything that I desired. Everything. Of course, I have more desires, but everything that I used to desire. So sometimes I find it affect me and also I guess the people around me because I can't give them what I want and be fully present if I'm always feeling like I need to do more, I need to
Okay. And if you could tap into what's that emotion that is sponsoring this decision of this is not going to happen to me, I'm going to be focused. What emotions there when you
fear.
think fear? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fear of not being loved, I guess, by my parents. Not them not being proud of me or or feeling disappointed or for me was and is one of the worst things in the world for them not to be for them to be disappointed.
Yeah. And from there, where do you want to be? Like, what's the desired state? How would you like to be experiencing yourself? If I could wave a magic wand and you could just have that right now, what would you be?
Keep doing what I'm doing, like keep working and wanting more, but being able to stop and fully feel and enjoy what I'm achieving right now, and then not setting deadlines for myself. I mean, deadlines are necessary in a business, but not pushing them for me to feel this rush, because I think I do it because I'm addicted. I'm addicted to this feeling of, I need to get it, and then I do it. When I have a space and I feel relaxed, I'm like, oh, there is something wrong here because I'm feeling too relaxed and too,
And in this desired state, so you said you're feeling relaxed. What else are you feeling in this desired state where you're...
joy, pleasure, like really enjoying everything. And relax is the word, like safe and that it's okay to be here, like it's safe to be here where I am now.
And it's so powerful that you're coming to these realizations now. I know in the next couple of years you're excited about having children, and I know that your level of awareness as well around, you know, what we pass on and of course you want to be present and you know, available and just, you know, seeing how this has played in your life and seeing the potential. So it's time to let go of the old, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it could be one of, and that's why I've been working on that, because it could be one of my biggest regrets if I'm with my kids, not being able to be fully present and enjoying the moment and thinking about business or whatever, which it would happen sometimes, of course, because we are human. But this constant feeling of I should be there, I should be doing this, I shouldn't be, instead of spending hours with a kid just doing nothing, which is beautiful and a blessing. So yeah.
Are you comfortable to go into a process and to work with this fear today and to loosen the grip of it? And we'll also then play in some strategies afterwards as well that you can take home with you. We can keep working on this and installing it and integrating it into your life. Yeah. Beautiful. So is it okay for you to close down your eyes and just checking with your unconscious mind? Is it okay for us to work with your unconscious mind today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And is it okay for you, your unconscious mind, for you to release this emotion of fear today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yes.
So what I want you to do, because we're already connected in with this event, I want you to go all the way back to when you were 8, looking down on that event, seeing what you can see, hearing what you can hear from a distance, above and before the event, from that release position, and looking down on the event and seeing these other kids and them failing the year and knowing they're going to have to stay back here, and this decision that you've made, it's not going to happen to me. I'm going to focus, just seeing that they're seeing and getting a sense of the fear that was created in that moment. And from above and before that event, just trusting this part within you, this deeper wisdom that lives within you. What do you need to learn from this event that's going to allow you to have a shift here, to see the situation differently with your new level of consciousness as an adult now, to be able to release what you need to release?
You have time.
Yeah, and just speaking in the first person, so about using the eyes.
So that I have time.
I have time, yeah. I have time. And how does that make you feel, knowing I have time?
Relax.
It's letting that soak in, taking a nice deep breath into that. I have time.
I have time.
I have time. What else do you need to learn here? What else does your unconscious mind want you to know?
That is not the end of the world, and they love me anyway. Like, and even if they are disappointed, at some point they'll be okay with the decision that I make, because
they love you, right? Yeah. Just let that really soak in for that 8-year-old Lola. That they love you. They'll love you anyway. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
That I have time.
Yeah. And that I can handle if they are disappointed with me at some point, and it's okay.
Beautiful. I can handle it. Is there anything else that you need to learn here, that your unconscious mind, one or two last pieces that you need to learn about yourself that's really going to support you here?
It's saying, in a way, like, you are already worthy. You don't need to prove anything.
And just coming back to I statements.
I am really worthy. I don't need to prove anything.
I am already worthy. I don't need to prove anything. Just really feeling that in your body. Feeling where it feels the most powerful in your body, letting it flow up through your neck, up through your face, down through your shoulders, down through your arms, breathing it in. I am already worthy. Feeling that flooding down through your legs to your feet. That's it. Feeling worthy. And from that place, from above and before the event, I just want you to tune in. Is the emotion of fear still there, or has it dissipated now in the light of your new lessons and learnings?
It had dissipated.
Beautiful. What I'm going to get you to do now is to go right down into the event, looking through your own eyes, see what you can see, hear what you can hear, and just check if there's that old emotion down in the event, or you might find it's also dissipated from down in the event.
Dissipated.
And what's replaced it now? Where that fear used to be, what's there now?
Like joy and confidence. Little Lola is like, I'm gonna enjoy this ride.
So just allowing yourself to really bask in that, seeing that little Lola, feeling yourself as that little Lola, looking through her eyes, seeing the same situation now through the glasses of joy and confidence, feeling that in your chest or through your legs. Breathing it in a few times, just letting it really settle into your nervous system. And this tuning in from this place of this joy and confidence, what's a new decision that you want to make here? From this new energy, from this new clarity, what's the new decision that you're going to make here?
And I'm going to enjoy the ride and being playful, because I know this is what is going to bring me success and not pushing.
Beautiful. And it's going to bring me success. Just really let that land in. This new decision, and you actually enjoying the ride and being playful is actually the key to your success, the next level of success. So gathering that all up, all of those lessons and learnings, that new decision that I'm going to enjoy the ride and be playful and it's going to lead me to success, and that joy and confidence, and bringing all of those resources with you up and out of the event, all the way up above and before the event, back to that release position. And now I want you to come back towards now, but only as quickly as you can allow yourself to release all of the emotion from all of the events all the way back towards now, allowing your unconscious mind to lead you to any significant emotional events where you need to release that fear, and allowing yourself to be led all the way back towards now. That's it. And when you're ready and you feel complete with that, just making sure you've got everything you need, you're more than welcome to open your eyes and come back into the space. Welcome back. Beautiful. So yeah, from here, let's just check in. Let's just check where you are now. We've just been playing with and journeying with 8-year-old Lola. Let's come back into where you are now, and yeah, let's just take you into the past where you used to be able to feel this old emotion of fear. Say you're waking up the day after this big breakthrough. How are things different now? When you're waking up in the morning?
Yeah, and much more like, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, and again, knowing that going and meet some friends or connecting with people or just chilling is what truly gonna give me the connections and everything that I need to reach my goal.
Okay, beautiful. Tick. And now I'll get you to go into the future as well, to an unspecified time in the future that would be most relevant, where something like this may have happened in the past and you've made this huge successful win in your life. And now how do you handle it differently? What do you do differently now moving forward?
Yeah, I can see so clearly, like I am at home with my kids and having a meeting with my team for a launch about something, and they are stressed and everything, and I'm like, hey, if we can't do this because there is no we don't do it. Just chill. I prefer everyone to do this in 2 hours and then go and have fun. I'm gonna switch off my phone and let me know tomorrow how the lunch goes, because now I'm making breakfast for my kids. Ciao.
Beautiful. And given a scenario of a business partner you're working with or collaborating with, the day afterwards, you know, you've had this huge successful event, and then the day afterwards they're sending you messages in the morning and saying, you know, we need to keep moving on this.
Yeah.
What, you know, what do you do in this situation?
Yeah. I think like I'll be like, yeah, of course, replying because it's respectful, but I'll be like, if it's not something that is gonna change the world, let's meet in a couple of days, and we'll review everything and go into the next step. But for now, I'm gonna let this. I'm gonna go to the bank account. I'm gonna check how much I earn, and I'm gonna buy myself something beautiful. And let's see.
Beautiful. I love it. Well done.
Yay! Thank you so much. Of course.
Absolutely. So excited to see this play out and your mission taken to a whole new level. And
it feels so good.
We all need this from time to time, right? Like when we're in it, we're moving through, we all have these different beliefs and blockages that come in. So be really curious over the next couple of days. We've worked with your unconscious mind here. So just be really curious and observe how your conscious mind now is interacting differently, how you're seeing things differently, feeling differently. And there's this one tool that I want to give you called Catch and Release, which is a really powerful self-awareness tool that, yes, we've done this deep change work on your unconscious mind, but the next part now is to focus on what you want and to take action. There's 3 prerequisites to change: the deep unconscious work, the focusing on what you want, and then taking action. That's how we cement this in for long-term sustainable change. So the first step to this catch and release is first off noticing when there is something coming up for you. In your instance, it might be, you know, a slight little after taste of what we've just been through. That's this drive to like, oh, I need to do something, like this anxiousness of need to do something. So noticing that. And what I want you to do is, rather than reacting and taking the actions that you normally might and doing what your thoughts are telling you, instead taking a nice deep breath, getting oxygen into your prefrontal cortex, starting getting yourself back into your, like a deeper breathing pattern. Because when we're breathing shallowly and we're more in fight and flight, we're not using the full cognitive function that we have available to ourselves. So taking the breath to begin with makes us think smarter. Then I want you to change your posture by pulling your shoulders back, because it's been shown through studies when we actually change our posture, it actually changes the way that we feel and also the thoughts that we have. So changing your posture is the third step. The fourth step is just to then sit in the silence, be there in the silence of what you've created by breathing in, and into that silence casting the question of, what do I choose to focus on now? Or what is the most powerful thing that I can focus my time and energy on now that's going to reward me with the goals that I want? So, and really choosing what you want rather than being taken by your old patterns, right? And then the final step is to take action on that and to go for it. And then as an extra bonus, sixth step is to celebrate, because what you've just done is you've interrupted an old pattern. You've pattern broke that old pattern, and you've literally chosen to take conscious control and to step into the driver's seat of your life, to take yourself on a new path. And rather than doing the same thing again and again, you're rewiring and cutting in this groove deeper and deeper into your nervous system, so it becomes more easily available for you to run this pattern of, like, rather than getting caught up on the stress and the overwhelm, what can I focus on now? What am I going to do next? So I want you to have this for yourself and to set this in your calendar as an alarm system for 5 times a day of like, what do I choose now? Catch and release. What do I choose now? So to run that, to check in with where you're up to, and then if you need to shift yourself towards what do I want to be focusing on. And just to make sure that we fully use today's session and that we are practically applying it and being able to move forward, because it's one thing to create space, but then we need to fill the space that we've created with what we want. It's like de-weeding a garden, but then we need to plant what we want and not just leave it up to our environment, because otherwise we can have other people planting this stuff in our garden unconsciously. So
I already feel the change in my body and in my future, like in my present and in my future. Like I can see my future now, and I see how it has already impacted it.
Beautiful. So, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
Excited. Excited to see you boom to this next level.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you for being on the podcast today, and also for going into this deep experience. We can keep the listeners updated with your journey, and for them to do that, where can they follow you? What's the best place to stay connected with your journey and what you're sharing? And potentially their partners might also want to work with a hormonal specialist, because it is such a complex area if it's new to you. And sometimes we can save so much time by just working with somebody who's an expert. It can turn decade into days.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Lola Montes, Instagram, Lola Montes 3_. And then I have all the information there, all the links. And please do have this conversation with your partner about the menstrual cycle and so on, because it's going to empower her and your relationship, and therefore you. So
beautiful. And is there any particular offerings that you want to speak to today that the viewers might be able to get connected with, or somebody that they love might want to be connected with?
Yeah, let's see, depending on when this air, but I always have like a few offerings, but I have one that is my main one, which is Radiance. So it's a program for a woman to connect with her cycle, to go deeper into everything that we've spoken here today about the cycle. So definitely that is every woman in the world should do that. So every woman in the world.
Thank you so much. And keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for looking after our women and bringing them deeper to connected to themselves.